Hi everyone, in this video we'll talk about COUNTIFS function in Excel, how it performs, what function does it solve, and how to use it in a temporary dataset. If you see, I have the same sales order dataset as I had in the previous video for COUNTIFS. So we'll be using the same dataset. The link for this free dataset is in the description below. You can check it out if you would like to. And there are 4 questions on COUNTIFS that we'll try to tackle on this small dataset. So the first question, how many times has each region been recorded in the dataset? So if you see in the dataset, we have a column for region, which has 3 regions, central, east, and west. We can check how many regions are there in a dataset by using the unique function. If you haven't watched that video, click on the top right thread, you'll be redirected to that same video. Now coming back to the COUNTIFS function, we just want to count how many times east appears in this column. If I filter on east, my answer should be 13. It's because it's 13 times east has been repeated, but I need this via a formula. I cannot filter every time I want to check something, right? So this will be COUNTIFS column, and I want to check east. Boom, I get the same answer as 13. That's how it goes. So the syntax here is COUNTIFS, you specify the range on which you want to count, and then the condition of ifs comes into play. Okay, count in this column, but what? East. So you count east in the column C4 to C46, right? That's how COUNTIF operates. Now, what we cannot type in east every time, right? What if we can make it a bit more dynamic? So now we have to count how many times each item is repeated in dataset in the items column. So like in items, we have binder, desk, pen, pen set, pencil, 5 types of items. We want to count all the types. So we have around 43 rows in this data set, right? If you want to check, we can use the COUNTIF function, 43 rows in the data set. And we just want to check many times they repeat. So their sum will be 43, right? So I'll use the COUNTIFs. What is my range 1? My range 1 is the item 1. I'll select that. And my criteria 1, I should be using the criteria on the left hand side, which is pencil, right? So if you see this formula, this K8 is pencil. If I drag this formula down, boom, I get the total of 43 and the distribution of units among all the pencil, binder, pen, desk, pencil. Now we don't need to go into every formula and type pencil in place of K8 or binder in place of K9 or pen in place of K10. I'm just referencing that to a cell where I've already pasted those values. So that just saves me time, and the formula is dynamic in itself. If there is let's say if I change pen to desk, then the formula will automatically update, and I don't need to worry about updating the formula again. So that's why making formula dynamics is one step closer to being an Excel power user. Now, moving to the next question. Count how many less than 10 units were sold in a single row. Okay, we want to count. So in the units column, how many times did we have less than 10? So from filter, it seems 2, 3, 5, 4, 7 are less than 10. So my answer should be 6. 6 rows have units less than 10. Okay, I want to count how many less than 10 units. So answer is 6, but I want to reach it via COUNTIFS. So COUNTIFS, I will go to the units column, and now my criteria is it should be less than 10. Boom, we get the same answer as 6. So you can use less than 10 criteria in COUNTIFS function to show, okay, what if you want to check values below a certain limit or above a certain limit, right? Again, we have entered less than 10 here, but what if we can make it a bit dynamic to check some more data into the table that we want to check? So the next question is a bit complicated and a bit exciting as well. Here we want to check distribution of units sold in a sales order dataset. So the left side dataset is called sales order dataset. Now we want to check distribution of units. By distribution, I mean how many items were less than 10, how many items, how many units were sold in like 10 to 20. So how many rows are basically there, right? So how many rows in this dataset show less than 10 units sold, then 10 to 20 units sold, 20 to 30, like this, and 90 to 100. If we see in our column, the maximum units sold is around 96, 95, 96. So we will cover the distribution till 100 because all the rows will get covered. So here, let's start making the formula and start to think how to make it dynamic. Is equal to ifs. Criteria range 1, it will be units, of course, because that's where we want to apply the counts on. And criteria 1 would be less than 10. First column is very simple. We just did that in the top one. The answer would be 6 rows, right? Nothing problematic in that. But when I copy paste this formula for the next one in 10 to 20, you see if I use this less than 20 in that cell here, M21, this will give me 10 rows. But actually, I would like for here to only come 4 rows because in this number 10, 6 are less than 10. So what I'll do here, I'll subtract the sum of L20 to L20. Now, why I've done this L20 to L20, I'll just explain in a bit. So this 10 to 20 is 4. And if I filter in the data set, you can see the very same thing. We have only 4 rows between 10 to 20. So even though you are calculating less than 20 as 10, you have to subtract less than 10 to get the number between 10 to 20, right? Similarly here, when I paste it all to the bottom, you see it will perform the exact same way. So 20 to 30, it's counting less than 30 and then subtracting till 20, right? Again, if I see the formula here, for 60 to 70, so it's calculating less than 70, 31 are less than 70, but we have to subtract 25 from previous till 60 as well. So I count less than 70, I subtract less than 60, this is my resulting answer. So this is how you think in COUNTIF terms, and this is how you actually check out which values are where and how can we check out distributions of buckets in a particular numerical column. Thanks for watching this video. I'll see you in the next one. Cheers.